We're going to give you a rundown now on the security and Wi-Fi light stroke alarm stroke camera. And this is basically how to set it up. It's a plug and play and it's a very simple system, and it's an excellent light, security camera and security alarm. Plus it's a timer for turning lights on and off as well. So this is how you actually set the system up. So if you look at the first setup there, you can actually pause this if you want to pause it. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to go through this is how to set the camera light up. Basically what you need to do is make sure you're beside your router and you have your camera beside it, you have it plugged in, and you have your Wi-Fi password beside you, and your mobile phone beside you, and you have your Wi-Fi password. So you go through the whole system there as you see on it. And then basically when you get down near to the end, you'll hear the voice. When you plug the power onto your cable in first, you'll hear the voice prompt, and then you'll actually start programming it then. So you just make sure you have your phone beside the camera, about 10 to 20 centimeters away. You'll hear it then, and it just go through exactly everything that we have written down here on the setup. And then you'll hear the saying, you'll hear the voice prompt saying successful. That means actually you're connected to the system, so you're actually online. And then the only thing you need to do then is, what you would need to do is you need to go into settings. When you go into settings, you'll see settings are here on your app. You're going to go into settings, and then you're going to go into time settings. When you go into time settings, just go down to where you see UTC 0. Right there, you'll see it right there. And what you're going to do is you're going to press save. When you press save, that's just saving the time, so the time is exactly the same as it is in your country. So once you do that, then you'll go back out and you go back into settings, and then what you'll do then is you go into alarm settings, and that's going to bring you over into here. And what you're going to be looking at there is you're going to be looking at your notification. You want to get your prompt, and this here needs to be enabled, so that will always be blue, and that means once that's enabled, that when the camera picks up anybody on your property, it will send a notification to your mobile phone, and you can actually just press on your phone and you'll see who's there. Down underneath here you'll see the motion. I'd always make sure that motion is at the lowest level possible, so bring it right over to the left hand side as far as possible. Now you're going to go into picture and sound. When you go into picture and sound, again your volume, as you see, needs to be up 100%, and your motion detector again fully over to the left hand side. And then what you have here is you have your switching time. This is basically if you ever want to set the camera and your lights to come on at certain times in the evening time, you can actually put in the times there. When you put in the times, you're going to be pressing, say, to turn the light on, you'll put the time in, and then underneath there you'll see to turn the light off, you'll put the light in there. And then what you'll do then is you'll just press save. You should see save on the top up there, and that'll actually save. That means the light will come on. If you put in 1700 hours, your light will come on at 1700 hours. And then if you put in 1730, it will go off at 1730. Again, if you want to put another time schedule, you can put 10 or 12 in, that the light will come constantly on and off if you want to. If you ever wanted to delete the time, you just swipe here over to the left hand side and you press delete, and that's deleting the time, so the lights won't come on again. But you can always have that set up as well. It's excellent to do. So your main thing is, once you have your first setup done, everything should be working perfect. Sometimes you might have a problem there, it mightn't set up, it mightn't connect to the Wi-Fi. The reason that might happen is that it could be a bad Wi-Fi signal, so you'd have to do it again. If you're going to do it again, what you need to do, on the camera you see there's two little screws on the outside where the speaker is. Just take those two screws out. When you take the cover off gently, on the right hand side you see there's a little switch. Press that switch down, and after about 5 to 10 seconds you'll hear a voice prompt saying back to factory settings. That means you can start all over again and try and do it again. That's the first way you can do it. If it was a case then that you said here, well, that's not really working out great for me, you want to do it a second way, you can go to the second way. So this is the second way here. Again, you can stop this table and do it as slow as possible. But basically what you're doing here, you're using a LAN cable. It's a computer cable that gets plugged into the back of your ruler and then into the camera. Just the way I'd normally use it, and it gets done very. So you go through the whole setup there, and when you go through the setup there, basically what you're going to do then, the minute it goes on, which it will go online, once it goes online, you're going to have to go into your settings again for this one. And when you go into your settings there, you're going to go into network settings. When you go into network settings, it should bring you say down to where we have this. It will be the name of your company that you're with. It could be Vodafone or UPC or some other company. You're going to press on that, and then you're going to press confirm, and then you're going to put in your Wi-Fi password. When you put your Wi-Fi password in, again you're going to press confirm. And basically that's it there. Again, if you've already done your settings, you can go back into the settings again, and you're going to change, if you need to change anything on your voice prompt or your motion or on this one here, you can go in, or if you need to change that. But your main thing there is that you'll be up and running with this one here with 2. Again, if there was a problem again and you want to go back to factory settings, you just take the 2 screws out, and basically what you're doing then is you're going to reset it. Press the switch down and you'll hear the voice prompt. Once you hear the voice prompt, that means it's back to the factory settings. There's a third way as well. So the third way here is this way here. Basically what you're going to do there is you're going to follow everything that has on that. Take your time doing it, and you should be, after a few minutes, that will actually set you up and running as well. But normally I would normally use the force way, should work. If the force way doesn't work, I'd probably reset it and try it again. Just make sure that your camera and your phone are close to the ruler when you're doing the setup, and as I said, it should work perfect then. The main thing with the system here, with the camera system here, is that when you do set it up, I would always make sure I'd either put on the right hand side or the left hand side of the property. Normally height wise you're about 4 meters up, so that will be your first floor bedroom. So you're going to drill a little hole outwards, and you're going to, if you need to extend the cable, just add some extra cable onto it and just plug it into the nearest socket point. And you'd normally have a point at a right angle downwards. Don't have a point outwards. If you have a point outwards, you're going to have a problem. You're going to get a constant false alarms. So always have a point as close as possible to the property. Don't have a point outwards. So when the person is walking in, the camera will catch them sideways. If you have a point now, you're going to possibly pick up cars, people outside, trees blown, and it will constantly keep give notifications all the time. You'll constantly keep getting phone alert. The main thing then with the system, what you'll see on your app, underneath the picture you'll see you have your settings. That's where you go into your settings to change the settings. But you see there's another little symbol there, and it says defense. You always have to make sure that the defense is on if you want your security lights to come on and you want to get notifications. Plus if you want your alarm to work as well. When you press the defense on, you'll see on the left hand side a little picture of a house comes up. When the picture of the house comes up, what you'll see there is that means that the fence is on. So that means if somebody comes onto your property, say in the evening time when it's dark, your security lights will come on. If you have your alarm set, that will come on for the 1 minute, 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Plus you'll get a notification on your phone. When you get a notification on your phone, you can actually just tap on the app and you see who's there. You can actually speak to the people. The main thing, if you want to speak to the people, you have to put your finger on the microphone on the app and keep your finger on it, and you can speak away and they'll hear you as clear as could be. When you take your finger off, you'll hear everything that's going on your iPhone. So the main thing, as I said, what you're using is you're using the app to speak to the people, and you can hear everything and you can see what's going on. So if it was a case that you didn't want to get notifications but you do still want to have the security light on, basically just go into your alarm settings and you go into your where you have enabled your prompt for your notifications. Just turn that off. Your security light will still work perfect, but you won't get any notifications. But you could still tap onto your app and you can still see live pictures, and you can actually speak into it as well. If there was somebody on your property, you can speak into it. My main thing with this camera is that you always make sure that it's not pointing outwards, that it's pointing at a right angle. So you'd have it on the corner of the house, the left hand side or the right hand side. pointing downwards. If you wanted to have it in a shed or inside the house, it's perfect for inside the house. Just plug it into any socket point, and basically what it will do, if somebody came onto your premises in the house, it will send a notification to you straight away. It'll set the alarm off, and you can actually tell the people to leave the premises as well. Again, you could put it into a shed. If you're putting it into a shed, the average distance from the ruler to the camera they recommend is around 30 meters. So if there's a wall in between, I take 5 meters off. But if it was a case that was 40, you can always put a Wi-Fi booster in there, and the camera stroke light will work perfect. As I said, it's an excellent system. But the main thing to make sure is when you're putting it up that you have a right angle and you're not pointing it outwards. You're pointing it towards the premises, and the people are going to be walking in sideways, so you'll pick them up all the time and you won't get false alarms. You have your snapshots as well. If it was a case that you're looking at you're in work or you're somewhere else and you want to take a picture of somebody on your premise, you can just press the snapshot and that'll take a picture and that goes into your folder. Or you can take a recorder and record them as well. That will record roughly for about 10 minutes. There is a facility for putting a memory card. It's a 32 megabyte. You could put it into it and that will actually record for a few weeks if you wanted to. As I said, the main thing is when you're setting up, just take your time. So that's the rundown on it's basically where it is. It's your home guard security light stroke camera stroke alarm. It's an outdoor camera, and basically as you see, that's it there now. And where I'm pointing the camera there is, that's where your speaker is, and that's where your little switch is inside. If you ever need it, you just take the two little screws out and you'll see the little switch. Just hold the switch down and after a few seconds you'll hear the voice prompt. Once you hear the voice prompt, that means you're back to again. The only other thing you need to know as well on the system is, if you did want to set the lights up to come on at different times in the evening time, you can just go into light switch settings there and just set it for 7 o'clock in the evening or 8, and then going off at 9, coming back on. You can have it set for about 10 different times if you want to. So if somebody was coming in at late at night time, you could always have that light coming on. It's a 5 watt, there's 2 little LEDs, they're very strong as well, and it's an excellent system, and it's a very straight system, and it's a real plug and play system that you can actually do yourself. Basically that's everything on the system. Thank you.